Let me show you what that looks like as well. So right here. Okay, perfect. All right, awesome. Okay, cool. So if you guys are not part of our YouTube yet, I'd strongly suggest that you join. So if you go to youtube.com/LumiWealth, actually, I think it's at LumiWealth. You can get to our channel. There it is. Let me share this with you guys here in the chat as well. If you're not subscribed to our channel yet, make sure that you subscribe. We have a lot of free stuff on here, right? And actually, this is live right now. So you can see here, we are currently live on this channel. There you go. Perfect. All right. So if you come to this channel, make sure that you subscribe, sign up for the notifications as well, because we put a lot of free stuff on this channel. We're always releasing new things about our different algorithms, different workshops. We have a bunch of free content. So make sure that you go to our channel and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Cool. Awesome. Okay, so let's get this kicked off. So today what we're going to be talking about is how to run your first trading algorithm. So I hope you guys are excited, because by the end of today, you can actually have a working algorithm. We're going to be using a technology called Render to launch it, and a few other things I'll get into in a second. But before we do that, quick disclaimer, please make sure you read this over. This is trading. Make sure you speak to a financial advisor, all that kind of stuff. Just read over the disclaimer here to make sure we're all on the same page. Cool. All right, so here's our agenda for today. So first we're going to do is we're going to talk about our algorithms. So I'm going to show you a couple of our different algorithms that we've been running for a while. We'll show you some of our new stuff, and we will show you how they've been actually working and running. We have some very, very good results on this, so I think you'll be impressed, or at least very intrigued, because we are definitely building some pretty crazy stuff that I'm very excited about. Next, we'll talk about Alpaca, which is one broker that we work with. Not every single broker can trade algorithms. So we work with some of the best ones that are available both in the United States and outside of America. So one that we're going to talk about today is Alpaca, which is a fantastic broker because they're basically free trading, right? So you don't have to pay for trades with stocks with them. So, and they're very easy to use with algorithms. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about GitHub, how you can get started on GitHub, get all that set up if you don't have that set up already. Then we'll talk about Render, which is basically what's going to be hosting our algorithms. And then we'll talk about next steps afterwards if you want to join some of our programs or something like that. All right. Cool. Okay. Some notes before we get started. You can see all of our plans on LumiWealth.com. This is our website. So if you go to the website, LumiWealth.com, I'm sharing that link as well. Then you'll be able to see that there as well. So I'm just going to move this YouTube over here so I can follow if we have any questions on YouTube, right? Okay, cool. So you can see our plans at LumiWealth.com. I'm going to put that into YouTube chat as well. There you go. And we'll tell you more about the plans at the end. I'll kind of get more into this by the end of today. And then we'll, if you stick around to the end, we do have a discount. We have a Black Friday sale going on right now, so you could save yourself some money that way. And I'm going to share this presentation with you guys as well, so you have the presentation handy. There you go. That's the presentation. I'm sharing that to YouTube as well for those of you guys that are watching on YouTube. All right, cool. Okay, so let's jump into it. So here's a couple of our algorithms. We have a lot of different algorithms. I'll show you a quick little preview here. I'm going to have to log in. I'll show you a quick little preview of all these different algorithms that we have, because we do have quite a few, and they are performing quite well. I'm not going to be able to walk you through all of them today because we have so many, but I can give you the highlights, some of the ones that I'm more interested in. But if you go to our strategy library, this is if you're a paying customer, you get access to all of these different algorithms here. We have quite a few that you can choose from. Each one of these is doing a different thing. We have our alpha picks with stocks. We have our options alpha picks. It's a new one. We have our Iron Condor trading algorithm. We have our new Solana sniper bot that we're working on, which is really cool. Trading crypto. I think this one can really make a lot of money. Very interested in that one. We made a futures one last night, which is not on here yet. But we're working on a futures trading bot as well. There's a bunch of other ones here. So each one of these is a different bot that's doing different things. It's trading stock breakouts. We're trading butterflies in terms of options. We have a crypto grid bot. We have Bollinger Band trading bots. We have all sorts of different things. So when you do sign up, you get access to all this stuff. There's actually multiple pages, so you get a lot of algorithms. But today, I'm only going to talk about kind of a few highlights. So just know that all this is available to you as well. All right. So let's talk about a couple of them. So here is one algorithm that we developed a couple weeks ago. So far, been doing very well in our trading. Here is a bot that basically follows Congress members, right? And probably one of the most popular Congress member to follow is Nancy Pelosi, right? So here's our Congress following bot specifically set up to follow Nancy Pelosi. You can actually adjust this to follow any Congress member that you'd like. Nancy Pelosi is definitely one of the better performers. I can tell you that much. And here's a back test when we actually simulated. So for those that don't know what a back test is, we simulated basically this trading going back all the way to 2019. And this is how it would have performed. Quite nice. It's 22% a year is what we were making with this bot, or what we would have made with this bot if we had been running it that whole time, with a drawdown of about 50% or 47%. So a little bit more risky than the stock market, but quite a bit higher returns as well. She's definitely performing very, very well. And I'll show you how these have actually been working. I'll get into this a bit more in a second, but she has definitely been doing quite well. This is our Nancy Pelosi trading bot that's actually been running, up 10.5% since October 4th when we started. So about a month and a half or so, and it's up already 11%. I'd say it's a pretty damn good start. But yeah, when we simulated it going back in time with a back test, we got a very, very nice result as well. So if you're interested in copying Nancy Pelosi, that's something that you can actually do with us right now. If you're interested, if you're a customer, or if you become a customer during the course of this session, then you can actually run this thing right now. We'll show you how to do it, right? It's very simple. Basically the same process that we're going to be taking you guys through. You could very easily just run this bot. It's very, very easy. Okay. All right, so that's our Congress following bot for Nancy Pelosi. We also have it for different Congress members as well. So here's, for example, a Congress member named Mark Green. And by the way, if you're wondering where we're getting this from, this is where you can get it. There's a bunch of websites that actually have Congress trading. I'm going to show you Capital Trades because their interface is kind of the nicest. But if you go in here, you can see basically what all of these different Congress members are doing, right? Like Laurel Lee, she just bought some Apple stock, right? About $15,000 to $50,000 worth of it. She also sold GE Vernova, whatever the heck that is. She bought some Pfizer stock. I wonder why. I wonder if there's something that we need to know about, that Pfizer might be going up. But either way, these Congress members, the reason why we chose to follow them is not only are they insiders potentially, right? They work in the government. So these Congress members will actually know probably a lot more than you do about what's happening in these companies. There's a lot of lobbyists coming through. They're talking to people high up in a lot of these companies. So they do have that sort of insight. But it's not only about them being an insider in that sense. They also are the ones that set the rules. So you better believe that if one of these Congress members owns a ton of Pfizer stock, they're probably going to be passing laws that are favorable to Pfizer, right? So not only do you have the insider ability, but you also have the rule setting part as well, right? So again, so we have it for Nancy Pelosi. We also have it for Mark Green, and you could trade any one of these. You could pick any one of your favorite Congress members. You can follow any one of them or a combination of them if you'd like using this bot. All right, so here it is with Mark Green. This is a Republican from Texas. He trades a lot of oil stocks, and he's done a very good job trading oil stocks as well. So it's not just Nancy Pelosi that's getting some really good results. Here's another Congress member that's actually doing very well. So if you look here, this is our back testing result again. What I find very interesting is, first of all, he did quite well. He did about 20% per year using his investments, or his investments made about 20% per year with quite a low drawdown. So quite stable. You can see that the graph is basically going straight up and to the right. And that's kind of what I find the most interesting about this guy, is that basically that bear market in 2020 or 2022 did not happen to him at all, right? You can see here the stock market, this is in the yellows, S&P 500. It dropped during 2022, but his in the blue just continued to go up. So it's as if he never had a bear market, which I think is actually very interesting. So clearly he has some knack at picking stocks. Specifically, this guy seems to be very good at picking oil stocks, right? So again, both of these algorithms here, actually there's technically one algorithm, it's a Congress trading bot, but you can configure it to do different things. You'll have this available if you're a subscriber to one of our plans. You can use one of these bots, and actually you could use it right now if you wanted to. If you're subscribed, you could actually just set it up and run. All right. Okay, cool. So those are our Congress trading bots. Here's another bot that we've been running for quite some time. This is, one of our tried and true favorites that we've been doing for quite a while. And you can see here, it's gotten some very nice returns. When we back tested this going back all the way to 2010, it did about 30% a year, 29% a year. That's quite a nice return. Beat the crap out of the stock market. It's a little bit more risky than the stock market. It has a higher drawdown, but has quite a bit higher returns. It's more than double the returns of the stock market per year, which means after compounding, it does a lot better. So this one, for example, if you had ran it since February 10th, 2010, or sorry, February 17th, 2010, you would be up almost 4,000% at this point, meaning 40 times your money. That is quite substantial. So imagine you put in 2010, you put in, $10,000, you'd have $400,000 by now if you had invested in this one, right? We've also been running it for quite a while. I'm going to take you through kind of more detailed, but here's my money. I put in, I think I put in around, this is I'm up $1,800 on this one. I think I put in $3,500 into this algorithm over a year ago on June 21st, 2023, and I'm up already 50%. So doing quite well, beating the stock market by a very nice margin. Right, so this is actually running with real money, and it's been running for over about a year and a half. It's up a lot, 50% in a year and a half. I'd say that's pretty damn good. But we do have better ones. Right, this is one of the ones that we've been running for the longest time, but the newer ones that we have are actually quite crazy. So let me stop here for a second and ask if you have any questions. Right, if you do have any questions, that goes for you guys on YouTube as well. Please feel free to type into the chat, or if you're on Zoom, turn on your microphone. You can ask any kind of questions. It's a lot more interesting when we have this back and forth discussion. And thank you, 24 Barbershop. Love the program. Awesome. Thank you. That's on our Instagram. Cool. All right. So let me continue. But again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to turn on your microphone, type it into the chat. I am checking. This is live. The reason why we do it live is so I can answer your questions and we can have that discussion. All right. Okay. So that's our diversified leverage bots. We talked about our Congress trading bot for Nancy Pelosi, which did really well, 22% a year. For Mark Green, 20% a year, but a lot more stable. For our Congress trading bots, we talked about our diversified leverage bot. In case you're wondering what this is basically, this is mimicking Ray Dalio. If you guys are familiar, Ray Dalio, this guy's a genius. I think he runs the biggest hedge fund in the world. He has a net worth of $14 billion. One of the most successful people in history, basically. I think he's retired now, and he basically just writes articles and things. He doesn't really run it anymore, but his hedge fund, I believe, is around $200 billion. It's one of the biggest hedge funds on earth. And he actually runs one fund called the All Weather Fund, right? And he was asked about this in Tony Robbins' book that he came out with a couple years ago. He's like, what advice would you give to people and how they should invest? And he's like, oh yeah, you should basically follow what we're doing with our all weather portfolio. He's like, what is that? And basically it looks something like this. So he says to basically invest in a specific proportion of assets. So it looks something like this. He suggests putting 30% into stocks, 40% into long-term bonds, 15% into intermediate term bonds. So long-term being 20 plus years. Intermediate term, I believe, is about 5 to 10 years. Then 7.5% of your money into basically commodities, right? So, oil, gas, cattle, stuff like that, right? Which is DBC equity here, and then 7.5% to gold. Right, so he has a specific weighting that Ray Dalio recommends, and the reason for this weighting is because it theoretically, according to Ray Dalio, the biggest hedge fund manager in the world, it is the best way to protect yourself against risk, right? Because he divides up the economy into basically 4 quadrants, right? You can say that you're either going to have high growth or low growth, or you're going to have high inflation or low inflation, right? And then those all intersect. So you could have high growth, low inflation, low growth, low inflation, high growth, high inflation, low growth, high inflation, right? So you could have all those different combinations, right? And this should protect you against all those situations, right? So if you have high inflation, stocks tend to do fairly well. Commodities do very well during high inflation. I don't know if you guys have been trading commodities. I actually made a lot of money on commodities recently because of the big bout in inflation. So it was quite profitable because of that. But bonds don't tend to do well in high inflation, right? So, we saw interest rates go up. Bonds didn't perform very well. But this other part of the portfolio would have protected you and you would have made good money, right? If you're in a period of high growth, that tends to be very good for stocks, right? If you're in a period of low inflation, that tends to be very good for bonds. So in this sort of mix, it protects you against all those different scenarios. No matter what happens, you're going to have nice, stable returns, okay? But now, so this produces stable returns, but it's not the greatest in terms of absolute returns. It's about 7.7% average annual return. So what we said is, you know what? Because this thing already brings down risk quite a bit, it reduces risk because of the diversification. Then what we could do is we could increase the risk by using triple leveraged assets. So things like TQQQ. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this before, but it is one heck of an asset. Here's one, for example, that's triple leveraged NASDAQ. If you look at this over 5 years and we compare this to just the QQQ by itself, the NASDAQ here, you could see it performed a lot better than the NASDAQ. This is over a 5-year time period. The QQQ is up 146%. TQQQ, the triple leverage, is up 300%. So quite a bit more, right? If you go further back, it's even a bigger difference. This is basically, there's even less years for TQQQ to go. So this is since 2010. But if you go from 2010 onwards, it was up about 18,000% over that time period, right? But the problem is that when you simply buy these leverage assets, they tend to move a lot, right? So they do have very high returns in the long run, or they have had very high returns in the long run. But you can see these big drops, right? Like, for example, here you see when the bear market happened, we had this massive drop from 20,000% down to 5,000. So about a 75% drawdown. That's quite scary, right? So you can hold on to TQQQ. It can make you very good money, or at least historically it has. But the problem is they're going to be going through these big periods of drawdowns, right? I actually own some of this in some of my custom portfolios as well. But what we did is we basically built an algorithm that just trades that, right? So it owns TQQQ. It also owns the leveraged versions of bonds, leveraged versions of gold, and it diversifies across all of them, rebalances when it needs to. And that's how we end up getting this result of about 23 or 29% a year, or over this whole time period, about 4,000% returns over 14, 15 years, right? So quite a nice return there, right? So that's a diversified leverage algorithm. Like I said, I've been running this personally with some money, and I've made almost $2,000 off of it over the past little bit. In this account here, I have a bunch of smaller accounts that we run different things in. But yeah, so this one's performed quite well. Okay, so I talked to you about Congress bots, talked about a diversified leverage bot. Now let me tell you about some of the bots I'm actually very excited about, right? Those are great. Congress following and diversified leverage. We've been running those for a while. They've been doing well. But here's one that I'm super excited about, and I'm planning to actually move some like 200 grand into this one soon. I'm just waiting for money to move around. And let me actually get you the latest, because Alpha Pix, because their performance is doing so freaking well that I have to keep up with it. So I'm going to update my screenshot here because it's done even better since the last screenshot I took. So let me bring this in here. I'm going to take a little screenshot and add it to the presentation to update it. But basically, if you look at this here, you see that they've been running this algorithm, or they're actually, let me take a step back. So Alpha Pix is basically a product by Seeking Alpha. You may have heard of Seeking Alpha in the past. They are basically like a blog for investments, right? So they're quite popular. There's lots of people posting all these different blogs about, should you buy NVIDIA stocks? Should you buy this? And there's a lot of really smart people posting stuff to Seeking Alpha, right? So because now they have all this data, they have all these customers, what they decided to do was to create something called Alpha Picks, where they put out 2 stock picks per month. And they basically tell you, buy this stock or buy that stock, and they have like a list that they maintain. Okay, so you can see here, according to their historical results, they have beat the crap out of the S&P 500. So this has started in July 2022. So it's been about 2.5 years. The S&P 500 did 59%. And Alpha Picks did 184%. So they did about triple the returns of the stock market over this time period. That is pretty damn good. Now, if you subscribe to them, they're actually right now, you could just separately buy this product and they can send you their picks. I highly recommend it. I've made a lot of money off of it. Let me show you kind of some of the results that I've gotten. Let me log in here into one of my investment accounts that I manage. And I'll show you why I'm so interested in this algorithm. So basically, they give 2 picks. Right. So here's I have these 2 investment accounts here. So I'm going to go into this one here. They give 2 picks per month. Okay. Now I've been following them for over a year now, and I've made quite a bit of money following them. So here, for example, is one pick that they give. They gave Modine Manufacturing. Where is it? Modine Manufacturing. This is a pick that they gave, I want to say something like a year ago. I'm like, you know what? I don't really know what this company does. Whatever. I'll take your word for it. I just put some money in. I put in, I believe, about $15,000 or $20,000 into it. How much I put? I put $25,000 into it. Since then, that $25,000 has now grown to $170,000. In other words, I have made $143,000 or 554% on the single pick that they gave me. If that's all they gave me, and that's all I did, I have paid for the subscription many times over, right? So Modine Manufacturing was, Steve says, sorry, Muskoka is sending a recording. Yes, Steve, you can also get a recording on YouTube as well. We'll be sending it out to everyone. And you can go, if you're on our YouTube, you'll be able to watch this recording after as well on there. Okay, so Modine Manufacturing, $143,000 I've made on the single pick, or 550% in about a year. Okay, that's one pick. Another pick that they gave recently is Powell. Okay, this again, I wasn't really sure what they do. These are both manufacturing type companies. I'm like, you know what? The last pick was really good, so let me just buy the other one. So I put in 15 grand into it. Since then, that 15 grand has turned to almost $70,000. So in other words, I made $53,000 on this. I think about 6 to 8 months, something like that, is when I bought it. So really, really nice return. So between these 2 picks, if I only got from these guys, Modine and Powell, I would have made about $200,000 off of just those 2 picks alone. But they give 2 picks every month, right? So another one, Sprouts Farmers. This one's doubled since I bought it. So I'm up about $20,000. There's another one, SMCI. So SMCI, I would have actually bought. They recommended this. I don't know if you guys follow SMCI, but this is one of the best performing stocks of the year. Okay. If you look at it, it's just up. It was up like 1,000% at some point. And they recommended this a while back. They recommended this like 2 years ago before this whole pop happened. And I actually missed that. And I looked at it and like, holy crap, this is one of the picks that they offered. So after seeing that, I was like, you know what? The good thing is that these guys give very good results, right? But the problem is, if you're doing it manually, you have to like actually go into your account, buy this stuff. If you're anything like me, I was forgetting to buy it. They also say when to sell things. So it actually takes quite a bit of effort to go in and buy and sell and all that kind of stuff. So what we decided to do was to basically make an algorithm around this, where we copy their trades and turn that into a trading algorithm. Okay, so that's what we've done. And that's what you could see here. We have a couple versions of this that have been running for a while. We actually even took it further. Okay, we have 3 versions of it. We have Alpha Picks All, Buy Plus, and Strong Buy. Okay, you might ask, what the heck is the difference? Well, Alpha Picks, not only do they give you a list of stocks, right? But then they also give you their rating on it, right? They can either say hold, they can say buy, or they can say strong buy. Okay. So we're wondering, we're like, you know what? They're giving us all these picks, but maybe we just want to buy the strong buy ones. Or maybe we just want to say, okay, if it's a buy or a strong buy, we'll buy that. Forget all the holds. Okay. So that's what we built these algorithms around. So check this out. This is pretty crazy. So here is just following Seeking Alpha or their Alpha Picks. It's up 13% since August 20th. So that's what? August, September, October. That's 3 months. Okay. Up 13%, which is quite nice for 3 months. However, and that's pretty much in line with this here, 184% versus 60%. This is what they're saying here is 184% is that exact number because it's using all of their picks. Okay, but however, when we made it that it only looks at their buys, so if it says buy or strong buy, we forget about all the holds, it did even better. This one's from August 20th. It's up 25% already in 3 months, right? So it's amazing. So if we got rid of all the holds, it actually even performs better than this. Theoretically, let's say this one did 13% over 3 months. This one did 25% over 3 months. So double that. So theoretically, maybe this isn't 184%. Maybe this is more like 300% if you're only looking at the strong buys or the buys, right? So that's all versus just buys and strong buys. And then what if we only got their strong buys? What if we only did only the best ones that they have? We go with that, and it did even better, right? This is crazy. Since August 20th, it's up 29%. That's 3 months. That's 10% a month, basically, this thing has been making the past few months. Absolutely incredible. 10% a month. It's wild, right? So I personally think, on Seeking Alpha's page, they have 184% is how well their picks performed. I actually think if you're doing just the strong buys, it does even better. I have a feeling this thing could have been up 300 or 400% over this time period. So really, really good. That's our Seeking Alpha or Alpha Picks bot. You see the 3 different versions of that. We're actually even running a new version now too, where we're using options to trade this because this is only stocks. We actually built a new one recently that we're still testing. I don't know where it is here, but basically it buys the options on it and we'll invest that way, right? Specifically buying call spreads for each one of the picks. So we'll see how that one does. That one we started very recently, but if I can imagine if this thing does very well with stocks, imagine how much better it does with options, right? So really, really excited about this stuff. Very cool bot. Again, if you're one of our subscribers, if you're with the Pro plan or the All Access plan, you can get this algorithm right now and run it right now, right? I'll show you how to do that in a few minutes, right? Okay, cool. Any questions so far? I've talked about our Congress following bots for Nancy Pelosi and for Mark Green. I've talked about our diversified leverage bot, which we've been running the longest out of any of them. Talking about our Alpha Picks bot, which is a fantastic one. I'm very excited about this one. Like I said, I'm planning to move something like $250,000 into this soon. I'm just trying to move some money around to get into that. But holy crap, this thing's been performing very well. This actually, I put some money into it recently. Here's one account that I have with it. This is live money. I put in $11,500 into this, and it's already up $2,500 almost. So I'm up 20% in 2 months so far. And this is with real money. I've been trading this thing and already making some good cash. So I'm planning to put another like 100 to 200 grand into it as well. Right. Cool. All right. So those are a couple bots. Here's another bot that I'm very excited about. And let's see how this one's been performing. But this is our EMA spreads bot. So basically what this does is trades options. Okay. This is a bot that trades options and basically trades options on the SPY. So basically it's looking at the SPY and it's trying to determine a few things. It's if the VIX is low enough, if you don't know what the VIX is, it's the volatility index. So if volatility is low enough, meaning that people think the market's a little bit safer right now, right? We look at the VIX. We'll look at if it's trending upwards. So we're looking at moving averages to see if things are trending upwards. And then we have a few other indicators that we look at. And as long as all those indicators are met, then what we do is we buy spreads on the SPY and we leg into it, right? So we buy a little bit this week, then we wait 3 days, and we buy a little bit more, wait 3 days, buy a little bit more. And that's how we end up doing this. So here's that one. This has been running in my account for a couple weeks now. Since September 18th, I'm up 37%. So what is that? 2 months, 37% return. I'd say that's a pretty damn good result so far. And that's for this EMA spread spot. When we back tested it, we saw that it would make about 83% a year. That's what we're estimating based on our research and our back tests. And so far, I've made actually a heck of a lot more than that in the past few weeks. So it's been a good start to running the spot. And if you look here, actually, notice that it actually didn't invest pretty much in all of 2022. That's because probably the VIX was too high, or indicators didn't line up to actually get into it. We only really want to buy this thing when we're in a bull market. So it avoided this whole time. So actually, if you were to look at just this time period when it was actually trading, I believe you were getting something like 250% a year. So it's actually kind of being in line with what we would expect so far, right? Because there's that whole period here that just didn't trade. So really interesting bot. This is our EMA spreads bot, right? Again, very nice annual return according to our back tests, quite a low drawdown comparatively speaking. And then we've been running it and actually getting some very good results so far. Right. Here's another one. This is our EMA spread spot, but instead of only trading SPY, this one diversifies across different assets. So it's trading SPY, IWM, and GLD. So it's the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, and then gold, the ETF. So this one's trading all three of those and basically buying spreads on all of them if we're seeing that the conditions align. So for example, for SPY, we're looking at the VIX. For gold, there's a gold volatility index that we look at. So there's all these different indicators that we're looking at. Which one do we get into? And when we back test this thing, we got a very nice result. This is our back test going back all the way to September 2020 and about a 4-year back test. You can see here very nice, consistent upward trending returns, and also about 73% average annual return according to our back test. This one's also been doing quite well. Let me see this one. Yeah, so this one's up for me. I've been running this with real money. Again, I put in $5,000 I put in $4,000. I'm at $500 already since October 28th. So it's made me $500 in a month, basically, or 12 or 13% in about a month, right? So a very nice return so far. Okay, so that's our EMA spread spot. And like I said, we have lots and lots of bots. I can tell you about all these different bots that we have. We have so many of them. That's our EMA spread spot. Okay, I'm going to show you one more, and then I'll show you exactly how to set these things up. So again, if you guys are part of one of our plans, if you're part of our pro plan or all access plan, you can get all these algorithms and you can run them right now. I'll show you specifically how to run them in the next 5 minutes after I show you one more algorithm, and I'll show you actually how to set these all up, right? So for those of you that are here, I know a couple of you guys are actually subscribers, so you guys can get this. Basically, you just have to go to Lumi Wealth Strategies, go to this page. Let me share this for you, those of you guys that are subscribers, and we'll get to that in a second. But basically, you go to this page and you'll be able to pick any one of these algorithms and you can run them right now. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so that's our EMA spreads bots. Next bot that I want to show you is our Iron Condor bot. Okay, so this is we've actually created quite a few different bots that trade Iron Condors. So for those of you that trade options and you're familiar with it, or if you need a little refresher, these are what Iron Condors are. Okay, so an Iron Condor bot is an Iron Condor, or trading Iron Condors is actually very interesting, right? And the reason why is because you can make money in both upwards and downwards trending markets. It does not matter what direction the market's going in. For example, today, we had a down day, and I'm pretty sure that I still made money today, even though the stock market was down today, because it doesn't matter if it's going up or down. It matters if it's not moving a lot. Okay, so an Iron Condor looks something like this. So let's say you put on this Iron Condor and we sell them. Okay, we sell Iron Condors. Let's say you did that when the S&P 500 was at $100 a share. Let's just assume. I know it's not anywhere near that, but just to make the numbers easy, let's say it was $100 a share. Okay, you put on Iron Condor, and then depending on what version of it you get, we have all sorts of different versions and kind of, you know, more risky, less risky. There's all these different things. I want to show you a few different configurations that we have. So basically it's 100. Let's say you're at $100. If the S&P didn't move, let's say it didn't move at all, then you're going to keep all that money, right? So when you put on this iron condor, you see here it's in green, and then we have red, right? So it's basically because it's 4 different options. We're selling 2 options here. We're selling a put and a call, and we're buying a put and a call here to limit our losses. Okay. So basically, when you sell this thing at first, you essentially make a bunch of money here. So here in this case, we have a nice profit immediately when we put this thing on. And then as soon as if the stock market moves, let's say it moves to $95, you still get to keep all that money. If it moves down to 90, then you start to lose, right? Or same thing in the other direction. If it goes up to 105, you're still keeping the money. If it goes up to 110, then you start losing a bit of money that way as well. Right. So basically you're making money as long as it stays in this range. If it stays between 95 to 105, you keep your money, you still make money, right? Okay. And then we also cap your losses. So you don't have, so there's no chance of like losing these big amounts of money, right? So that's basically what these things are doing. They're selling iron condors and you're making money as long as the stock market does not move too much, right? So today was a pretty quiet day. It only moved about 0.37, 0.38%. S&P. So today would have been most likely a winning day for most of our iron condor strategies. We were down, but we still made money today, right? Which is awesome. Okay, so here's a back test of one of our configurations for this iron condor bot that we built. This is our version 12. This is our SPY 12, right? Because we can trade different assets. So it's our SPY version 12. And we back test this thing from January 2020 all the way up until August 13th, 2024. I could probably update this. This actually would be even a higher number. I know it's up quite a bit since then. But over this time period, we made about a 77% average annual return. Fantastic results. So 77%. Okay. And a drawdown of only about 31%. So quite high returns relative to the drawdown. Okay. So we actually are making quite a bit of money on that, right? So high returns, low drawdowns, that's what we want to keep. Okay. That's our SPY 12, but we have a lot of other versions of this, right? So this one specifically doesn't use any martingales, automatically just sells these things every day with a specific delta. There's always like specific conditions that you can actually customize it with. If you wanted to, you could customize this bot very, very much so. But we've already created a bunch of different customizations they could use. You could even further customize it if you want to, right? Here's another one. Here's one that I'm actually very excited about, and we talked about this in our emails. This is our SPY 26. This one I'm super interested in, and I actually want to throw some money into this very shortly. And the reason why is because when you look at this thing, look at this. It's basically a straight line going up. And I know this is actually true because we've been running some of these. The 26 is new, but SPY 4, this is one that we've actually been running for quite a while now. All right, this one's been running since June 21st. And you can see here that it's up 17.5%. It's a nice straight up and to the right return, exactly the same as our back tests predicted, right? So we're actually getting some very good back tests is saying one thing, and we're actually seeing the exact same thing play out in paper trading and in live trading. So I'm just writing a quick little note to myself here. All right, cool. So that's our SPY 26. So this one, 82% average annual return, very stable graph, only a 9% drawdown. That is one heck of an algorithm. We've started running this thing. It hasn't really had that much time yet. So let's see. It's off to a little bit of a rocky start, but it's okay. We tend to see basically this sort of thing. What it does is it goes down and then goes back up and then goes down and goes back up. There's another version of it. This is SPY 28, which is up already 4% since November 22nd. I expect the other ones to fall very much into line with this as well. Because that's basically what it looks like. When you look at our SPY 4, you see it goes down and then pops back up again, and then down, pops back up again. It makes this very nice, stable up into the right graph. So I'm very excited about this one. I'm planning to put some real money into this very shortly. We actually just created this about a week ago. So I'm very excited about this one. So if you want to run this one today, if you are a subscriber, you would go into Lumio Strategies, you'd pick options, Condor, Martingale, and then that's the one that you want to run when you do this one. Okay. Cool. All right. So that's a couple of our different algorithms. You can see that we have a whole bunch of different things. We have everything from stock trading bots that follow Congress members. We have stock trading bots that follow, top hedge fund managers, kind of their advice. We have stock trading bots that basically do copy trading of ones that places that give us, stock tips like Seeking Alpha. We have options trading bots, right? Like our EMA spreads. We have options trading bots that trade iron condors. We have new bots we're working on to trade crypto, like our sniper bot. That one's really, really cool. We've been working on that one for a bit. That basically buys like meme coins and buys and sells them really quickly. We were working on a futures bot last night, which I'm very excited about as well. So we have lots and lots of bots here for you to use. They're very easy to set up, and I'm going to show you now basically how to set them up and how to run them. So if you are a subscriber, then you can basically subscribe to any one of these strategies, and you can run them right now. All right. Okay, cool. Any questions around any of that before we continue? Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's talk about how to actually run these algorithms now. All right, so I've shown you a couple that have really good returns, everything from 22% a year, 20% a year, 29% a year. This one this one made us 30% in 3 months. Like holy crap. This one 83% a year. This one 73% a year. So you can see that we have quite a few different bots, all these different types of strategies. All of them have some quite nice returns, and we've been making some very good money. Not gonna lie, I'm very happy with my investment returns recently. We've been making some very cool bots. Okay, so now let's talk about how to actually use these things. All right. So let's say you're a subscriber. If you're a subscriber to our Pro plan or All Access plan, then you'll be able to use any of these, right? Cool. So let's talk about, first of all, the broker that you're going to be using. Yeah. So in this case, we're going to talk about using the Alpaca broker. We do work with a bunch of other ones. We work with a bunch of crypto brokers, Coinbase, Kraken, KuCoin, Binance. We work with Interactive Brokers. We work with, who else? Tradier. We have a bunch of different brokers that we work with. We're actually working on a Schwab integration soon as well. So you do have your choice from brokers, but I do recommend using Alpaca if you're going to be trading stocks. And the reason why is because they actually have free trades, right? So if you go to Alpaca, it's Alpaca Markets, right? It's not a .com, it's a www.alpaca.markets. Let me share this with you guys. And again, you go through here and you can see here that they allow for stock trading, crypto trading, and options trading is a new one that they've added. And basically it's free stock trading, which is really, really cool. So it's kind of like Robinhood, but with trading algorithms, right? Okay, cool. So that's Alpaca, the broker. So basically, what you'd want to do with Alpaca, and let me share this actually into the chat as well inside of YouTube for you guys. Go to alpaca.markets. It's very simple. Click sign up for free. When you do that, it's quite simple. You fill in your first name, last name, country. They work in many different countries. I've seen people in Singapore use them. I've seen people in Australia use them. So they're international now. For me, I use the United States, and put in your email, your password, and then click sign up. And they'll send you essentially an email that you have to verify, and then you'll have an account, right? So it's pretty easy to set up an account. Right, so again, go to alpaca.markets, click sign up, fill in the form, and then confirm your email. And then once you've done that, you're going to come back and sign in. So I'm just going to do that here. I'm going to go log in to one of my accounts. I have tons of accounts with these guys. Let me go in here and we'll do this demo. Right, so remember me, and then sign in, and then I'm going to get this 2FA code 327341. Okay, there you go. So once you've created this account, you'll see something like this, right? Now, of course, you can sign up for whatever account you want, whether you want to do it with a business or if you want to do it individual, you can go through that. For the sake of today, I would suggest just skip over this for now. We're just going to set up paper trading for now. If you do want to use this with real money, it's basically the exact same process, just we're going to be using different API keys, right? So in this case, you would have to go through that and sign up for your account and all that kind of stuff. Right. But for now, we're just going to go in the top right hand or top left hand corner and click on home. Okay. And when you get in there, you'll see that you have this fake money account basically all set up. All right. So here's an algorithm that I've been running. There's a pretty simple one. There's one that if you guys are not subscribers, you can still get access to this. I have an example algorithm that you guys can use. Very simple. Just buy TQQQ and UPRO. I talked about those a little earlier. They're basically leveraged ETFs. And this has actually done quite well so far. It started at $100,000 and it's up quite a bit. So this one's made 7.5% since I ran it in the beginning of October. So this is an example algorithm, but it's still, still did pretty well. Cool. All right. So that's Alpaca. Okay. So once you've signed up, go in and then click on home so you can take a look at your paper trading account. Okay. And then you're going to do one more thing when you're in here is we need to get your API keys as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down this page until you find API keys, a section like that. On mine, it's on the right hand side. On yours, it might be closer to the bottom, right? Okay, on mine, it's on the right-hand side. Yours might be closer to the bottom. Either way, look for API keys. When you get there, you'll see a button that says generate. For me, it says regenerate because I already made it. So I'm going to click on that, regenerate, generate new keys. And now you see I have an API key and an API secret. This is what we're going to be using to connect your bot to this broker, okay? These are the keys. Think about this kind of like a temporary username and password that you use for a bot, right? Because you don't want to give a bot your real username and password. That's a security risk, right? So instead, we have these API keys and API secret, which is like a temporary username and password they're going to give to a bot so that it can access this account and actually trade on your behalf, right? So that's our API keys. We've set that up. And now basically we want to leave this page open. We're going to come back to this. We're going to use this key and the secret in further steps. Okay, for now, this is it. You have your Alpaca account. You have gone into your paper trading, and then you have created your key and your secret. Okay? Now, if you're doing this with live trading, you just make sure that you switch over to your live account. And this account doesn't have a live one. But if you click on here, you'll see a live account. Click on that. And then you basically just want to get the API keys for that live account. Right? So if you want to trade this thing with real money, it's very simple. You just switch. It's just a different set of API keys. That's it. Right? Okay, cool. Any questions around any of that so far? Okay. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to turn on your microphones or send a chat. I'm checking the chats here in Instagram and YouTube. Cool. Someone says here, let's be good players in the space. The world is watching. Sounds good. K Arbor. It's Job again. Awesome. Anything in the futures market? Yes, we do have futures trading algorithms. We actually were building one last night. That's really cool. It's like a trend following futures algorithm that has like a martingale on it. It's not finished yet, but I'm very excited about it. Someone says, I love the program. Thank you guys. Cool. Great. Some good people there on Instagram. Awesome. Okay, cool. So Day says, do you recommend any books to start? There's one really good book that I would recommend. The Man Solved the Market. This is probably one of the best books to get started with. So let me get the .com. I'm in Canada right now, so let's do showme.ca. Let's go amazon.com. Yeah, there you go. This is a really good book. If you want to get started with algo trading, I do recommend reading this book. So here is The Man Who Solved the Market. Basically, it's a book about Jim Simons. If you've ever heard of him, he's a guy that created Renaissance Technologies. It's probably the most successful hedge fund in all of history. They're doing something like 67% a year every single year, like on average, 67% a year. And I think they only lost money ever once in a quarter over 30 years. So if you do the math, imagine 67% a year for 30 years. Do the math on that. It's wild. These guys are making so much cash. It's a very interesting story. These guys are actually making so much money with their hedge. And basically, their hedge fund, by the way, is only running computers. They started this hedge fund something like the 90s or something like that. And only computers place trades. Human beings do not place trades whatsoever. Okay. This hedge fund, 67% a year, is one of the most, I think, the most successful hedge fund in all of history. Jim Simons, unfortunately, passed away a few months ago. But before he did, he was, I think, number 40th richest person on earth, right? So shows you how powerful these trading algorithms can really be. This is one example of a person who has made a absolute killing doing this stuff. So really interesting book. Not only does it tell you a lot about kind of the whole space of like trading algorithms and whatnot, but it's also a very interesting story. Like these guys, like the amount of money they're making is just absolutely absurd. I remember one story they told was one of the guys that helped start the hedge fund. He was making so much money. He bought a house somewhere, I don't know, in Connecticut or something like that. And he forgot about the house. Basically, the government writes him a letter and says, hey, you can't have a house here. It's like government property, whatever. And he's just like, I have a house there. Like he didn't even know. It's like a couple $1 million property. Just totally forgot about it. That's how much money these guys are making. It's just wild. But yeah, really interesting book. So if you want to get started in this space, this is probably a really good book to start with. Let me answer a few more of your questions here. Andrew says, any reason to ever use another broker for stocks then? I mean, I like Alpaca for stocks. That's my favorite for trading stocks. Everyone's kind of got their own preferences, but I mean, I would think so. If you're trading stocks, it's free trading. I don't know why you would use another broker. Sometimes you kind of just, you're set with one, whatever. And if you want to use a different one, that's up to you. But yeah, I mean, I think Alpaca is probably the best to use for stock trading. I agree with that. It's also really easy to get up and running. The only thing that Alpaca does not have yet is they don't have support for IRA accounts. So I actually use Tradier for trading this the AlphaPix algorithm. And the reason why is because Tradier allows me to put in IRA money, so I don't have to pay taxes, right? I have the big chunk of my investments are all in IRA, so I don't have to pay any of these capital gains, because that really makes a big difference in the long run. Cool. Another question here. Do you think there's a way to treat this as a part-time work besides full-time work, or is it more at random income? I mean, I don't think you need to do anything at all. You could just use our algorithms, right? If you subscribe to one of our plans or Pro Plan or All Access Plan, you could just use these. It's not going to take any of your time at all. It'll take you 20 minutes to set up and then you can forget about it, right? That's kind of the point of these algorithms. So you don't really have to be doing any stuff. We do have, as part of the Pro Plan, you can join us on Tuesday nights. We talk about how to actually build these things, and you can do that. But that doesn't take much time at all. So if you have a day job that's paying you money, you can invest it into this, and you could actually hopefully make some very good returns from that, right? So yeah, so treat it as part-time work. I don't think you need to treat it as part-time work at all, right? If you want to build your own algorithms, that's another thing, right? We're actually working on like a partner program. So if you want to build algorithms, so you can like share it with our audience. So if you have an algorithm that is making good money, we actually have this community that we're building out where you can actually use other people's algorithms and pay them for that. We don't have that up and running yet, but we plan to in the future. So if you want to make some extra income that way, you could. But in terms of actual algorithms themselves, just run them and forget about them, really. Okay, cool. All right, so we talked about the different algorithms. We talked about Alpaca, the broker, how to set up your brokerage account with Alpaca. Okay. And you got yourself your API keys. So once you have those API keys, just keep those there and we'll come back to them. Okay. Next step, let's get our GitHub up and running. Okay, so GitHub, for those of you that don't know what it is, it's basically a place to store code. Right? So if you go to github.com, these guys got acquired by Microsoft, I think for like $20 billion or something ridiculous like that recently. And this is where the majority of the world stores their code. So it's very secure, very, very large database of code that people have and put in private. This is where we store our code. So this is our code. So it's github.com/LumiWealthStrategies. If you are a subscriber, then we would have given you access to everything, or depending on your plan they subscribe to. Starter plan, you get 5 different algorithms. Pro plan, you get access to all of them, right? Same thing with our all access plan. You get access to all of the algorithms that we have on here, which is quite a few of them. As you can see here, you can just keep scrolling. These are all different algorithms, each one of these, right? And basically, you can just go into them and launch them, right? If you are not a subscriber, then if you go to this page, which I shared in our Zoom, let me share this to our YouTube as well, right? So you guys can actually click on that. If you go to there, then you get this example algorithm right up at the top here. So stock example algo, right? I'll show you how to use this. I'll talk about basically this today so that even those of you guys that are not subscribers, you can go through it here. Basically, you'll scroll down, you'll click on this deploy to render button, which I'll talk about in a second. But if you want to run other ones, let's say, for example, you want to run our Condor Martingale algorithm, and then you'd scroll down here, and that also has a deploy to render button, right? So depending on what algorithm you want to run, just go to that page, and then you're going to click on that button on that page, all right? Okay, cool. So with GitHub, if you want to access our algorithms, again, this is our libraries at github.com/LumiWealth-strategies. We have one example algorithm in there for free. So even if you're not a subscriber, you can kind of just see what it's like. The starter plan gives you 5 algorithms, and the pro and all access plan gives you all the algorithms. Okay. And to run an algorithm, you basically find the one that you want to use and then click on deploy to render to run it. Okay. All right. Any questions around any of that? Let's check in some of our other stuff here. Says, can we use other brokers? Schwab, we have not set up with yet. We're planning to add Schwab sometime in the next few months. I would actually recommend other brokers other than Schwab, though. There's much better brokers than that. For example, if you're trading options, we recommend using Tradier. And the reason why is because Tradier has a plan, and let me show you here, Tradier. If you go to their pricing, they have this $10 a month plan where you get free options trading, right? So stock options, 0, equity and ETF options, 0. This makes a very big difference. Okay? If you're, for example, trading our Iron Condor algorithm, the trading fees can add up very quickly, right? Because it's 35 cents per option, depending on how big your account. This could add up to a couple $100 a month in trading fees. So if you're trading with Schwab, you're going to get dinged with a lot of trading fees, okay? Or you could use Tradier, pay them $10 a month and have no trading fees, right? Which one would you choose, right? So we've actually been very careful with the selection of our brokers. We plan to add Schwab later. There's still a lot of people that want to use that despite all these things. But if you're trading stocks or you're trading options, I'd recommend Alpaca for stocks because they have free stock trading. And I'd recommend Tradier for options trading because for $10 a month, you get free options trading, right? So I would recommend one of those. Andrew asks, Alpaca also has free options. They have options trading. We have not integrated yet with their options trading because they don't yet support level 3 options. Level 3 options being what you need for spreads or iron condors. So we don't have options set up with Alpaca yet, but as soon as they have it available, we're going to integrate with them as well for options. So that's not currently a thing they could use yet, but we plan to do that as soon as they are ready. Right. It's a good question, Andrew. Thank you. Okay, cool. So it says I have my IRA there, but I can transfer it. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. Exactly the same thing. You know, I have one of my IRA accounts here, which I'll show you. This is my Schwab account, and I have something like 125K in this one, and I've been slowly just taking money out. So this is one of my accounts, right? This is not an algo account though. This is me just kind of just buying and selling by myself. But I've slowly been moving money over from there into all these different Tradier accounts. So for example, you know, we've made a lot of money on this one as well, but we made a heck of a lot more money in our Alpha Pix algorithm. So I actually wish I had transferred more of this over because we're up 20% on this one. I've moved, what is this, $11,500 from Schwab to Tradier, started using this algorithm, and I made already $2,500 on this one account. So yeah, so I agree with you, Wisdom Seeker. If you do have an IRA account, then Tradier is probably a very good match for you, and you can just move it over there. If you need help with it, we can help you with that as well. I'm very familiar with their process. We actually have a partnership together with them. I actually do like a podcast on their thing as well. So if you ever go through their podcast, you'll see me in there as well. Cool. Okay. Awesome. Any other questions, guys, before we keep going? This is great. You guys are all asking very good questions. Okay. Cool. Okay. So we talked about our algorithms. We talked about Alpaca is what the broker we're using today. We talked about GitHub, where you can actually get the algorithms. Now, the next step is using Render. Okay. So you might wonder, what the heck is Render? It's basically this here. Okay, render.com. These guys, if you've ever heard of AWS or you've heard of Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure, basically all these things I'm describing as ways they could run code in the cloud, quote unquote, right? So what is the cloud, right? What does that mean, running something in the cloud? Well, basically what it means is that they have a big server farm out, depending on what, thing you're using. But with Render, I think they have theirs in North Virginia, okay, or whatever. They have a giant server farm out there where I don't know if you guys have ever seen this in the movies, where you see those movies and it's just like computers like forever, right? It's like this giant warehouse just full of like tons and tons of computers. That's basically what this is, right? The reason why you want to run your algorithm in a server farm like that is because you're not going to run out of electricity. They have backup generators, all that kind of stuff. They make sure that it's always running. Okay. B, they have very fast internet that's always on, right? And C, they have guarantees where basically they have uptime. And D, and they make it very, very easy for you to run these things. So it's easy to run, very high uptime, very unlikely to go down. Whereas if you run this stuff on your own computer, which you can if you want to, right? But it's just going to be harder to do. Then what if your power goes out? What if your internet goes out? So it makes a lot more sense to run these bots in the cloud, right? And also, if you're running a bunch of bots like myself, I'm running like 50 bots right now. It's a lot easier to keep track of them because they have this whole thing that makes that quite easy, right? Okay, so that's Render. This is where we're going to be running your algorithm. This is the only thing that you'll have to pay for outside of our plans. This is $7 a month per algorithm, right? And you're doing that because they're going to be hosting this algorithm for you, and you're basically paying for space on one of those computers to be able to run this thing, right? Soon, we're actually going to be doing this ourselves. That's in a couple of months from now. But right now, we run through Render, and you can do it that way, right? Okay, so that's Render, okay? And essentially, the way that we're going to use them is we'll go like this, right? So let's pick which algorithm you want to run. Okay, so let's say if you want to run the options Condor Martingale, you'll click on that one and scroll down and go to Deploy to Render. Or if you want to run this example algorithm, I'm going to do the example one right now, just in case. So even if you're not a subscriber, you can still follow along and see kind of what the process is like. So click on Stock Example Algo, right? And then scroll down and go Deploy to Render, okay? Now, when you click that button, okay, for me, because I have an account with them, it basically jumps straight into this, right? It says give it a name. You could leave the rest of it, and then it says, okay, this is $7 a month. All right. If you do not have a Render account yet, then you're going to see something more like this. You're going to see the sign in page. You're going to click that sign up button. Okay. Once you click the sign up button, You'll fill in your username and password, or email and password. They'll send you an email, right? And then you can verify your email, go into your email, verify it. Okay. And then when you come back, they're going to ask you a couple questions. It doesn't matter what you fill in here, right? Tell us about yourself, your name, whatever. It really doesn't matter what you fill in here. It's just a survey for their own purposes. And then you're going to have to fill in your payment information, because this is $7 per month. Okay. Once you have done that, then you need to connect your GitHub, right? Because we need to get access to your GitHub. So basically, Render needs access to GitHub so it could pull this information, so it can get the code to actually run this stuff. So you're going to connect GitHub, and then the GitHub connection process looks kind of like this. You fill in your username and password for GitHub, which presumably you already have. You authorize it. It's basically a two-factor authentic, what was this called? An OAuth flow. You authorize. You say okay. Click on your actual username. Give it access to all repositories, and then hit save. Okay. So that's if you don't have an account. So that's how you create an account with Render, right? And then how you link your GitHub to Render. Okay. Once you have done all that, then you can get to the same page that I'm at here. Let me go here. Okay. There's the page. Okay. Let me stop there for a second, because you guys might have to actually go through that process, but also you might have some questions. So right now is a nice little time to stop and ask any questions around anything that we've covered so far. Any questions about any of the brokers? Any questions about any of our algorithms? Again, feel free to type it out, or you can turn on your microphone if you want to do that as well. Okay, cool. All right, so now that we're there, so again, just to recap, scroll down to the button that says deploy to render on the algorithm that you want to run. Click deploy to render. You'll see this page pop up, or if it's your first time, you have to put in your credit card, all that kind of stuff. And then basically it's going to ask you blueprint name. Now, it doesn't really matter what the name is. Usually I'll just copy this as stock example algo. Let's put that there. It kind of makes me remember it better. The name is not that important. You can check here, leave branch as it is, right? And then your estimated pricing is shown here, $7 a month. Now, I know one of you guys at least is from outside of the country. Actually, you know what? Yeah. Well, let me just bring this up. So if oh, this one doesn't have it. On some of our algorithms, we actually have a drop-down menu, and you can pick interactive brokers from another one. So if you're international, right, and you want to use like options trading or something like that, you might need to use interactive brokers. To do that, then you just switch branches to interactive brokers. Okay. But for the most part, everyone else will just leave it as is. Is make sure you just leave it main. That's it. Okay. All right. So we gave it a name. That's our branch. We don't need to specify anything else here. It's $7 a month, right? Once you have all that, then you click just deploy blueprint, right? When you hit that, you'll see that this thing starts loading, creating a background worker, right? So what we need to do though is we need to go in and change a few little settings. So you want to click on this right here. A lot of people miss this part. In the middle here, you'll see this little link with the name that you basically gave it. So in this case, stock example algo. I'm going to click on that one right here. So remember, when you click on this here, that's going to take you into the actual box that's running. Previously it was a blueprint. This is the actual worker that's running your algorithm. And once you click on that, you'll see these on the left-hand side here. You'll see logs, disk, environment, etc. What we want to do is we want to go to environment. Okay, so click on environment. And then in here, we have to fill in these environment variables. Okay. Once we fill this in, we're basically done. Okay. So here's our environment variables. We'll click edit, and you'll see here that there's a bunch of space to fill things in, right? Okay. So I can fill in API key and secret. That might seem familiar by now. The alpaca is paper, true or false. This is, you set this to false if you want to use real money. Live config, which is what configuration we want to use. Market 24/7. I only keep this in here because it kind of tricks it into thinking that it's a 24-hour market. So you'll see trades actually go through right now. And then the strategy name, which you can just leave alone. right? So basically, you just have to fill in 1, 2, 3 fields. Okay, that's all we have to do. Okay, so these might seem familiar already. It's your API key from Alpaca and your API secret from Alpaca. So just go back to Alpaca. Here's your API key and secret. Copy the key. Copy, right? Take the whole thing, copy. It's a little side note. If you double click it, it's a little bit easier, right? You can select the whole thing. So double click, copy, bring that over to render here and your API key. And then go back to Alpaca, grab your secret, double click, copy, and copy that over to here as well. Okay, so you see I have my Alpaca API key, that's my actual key. Alpaca API secret, that's my actual secret. And now I just have to fill in one more thing, which is my live config. So to get that, I'm going to go back to LumiWell Strategies. I'm going to click on this example algo. And most of these algorithms have it. Not all of them require a live config, but most of them do, or a lot of them do. You can go into backtest. You can basically see all the different configurations. So in this case, you see that we have a configuration called TQQQ_spy. We have another one, TQQQ_UPro. So you can click into those. You can see what they look like, right? Here's a backtest of TQQQ_UPro, 31% a year since 2014. That's a pretty damn good result, right? Or we can do the other one, TQQSpy, which is 28% a year and a different drawdown. Okay, so you can pick which one you want. Either way, you just want to get the name of it, right? So TQQQ_SPY is the name of it. Everything before the .pdf or whatever, that's the name. And that is going to be your live config. Okay, so it should look like this when you're all done. You have your API key and the actual key from Alpaca, the API secret and your actual secret from Alpaca, whether it's paper, true or false, and then your live config, which is you can get from the backtest folder and whichever one you want to choose from there, right? Markets 24/7. We could leave that alone. You can delete that if you want. You don't have to have that. And then strategy name is example algo. You could rename it to something else if you want instead. Okay, that's basically what it is. Now, let me really briefly go over this just in case you guys want to run this with different brokers. This is how you'd run it with different brokers. So if you go to inside here, we have a deployment guide, right? So right around where we have that deploy to render, we'll see deployment guide. If you click on that, you'll see this deployment guide will basically show you everything that we're going over now. Is how you deploy to render, you click the button, all that kind of stuff. We even tell you how to deploy to Replit if you prefer using Replit. But what I want to take your attention to is if you go down to broker configuration, you'll see that every broker has different variables you can give it, right? So for Alpaca, we have Alpaca API key, Alpaca API secret, and then is paper true or false. Okay, those are the three. But let's say if I want to run it with Tradier instead, what I would do is I would delete these, delete Alpaca, 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 and then add a new one for Tradier. I go Tradier access token, right? And then it'd be Tradier account number, right? And then Tradier is paper, right? I'd put those three in and then fill those out. So I'd go to my Tradier account, get the access token, get the account number, and then here it says is paper is just true or false, okay? Or if I want to use interactive brokers, for example, it's another popular one. I'd put in IB_username, and I'd put in IB_password. And then the rest of them are optional, right? You don't have to use these, but if you wanted to, you could also use account ID, which Interactive Broker is actually quite good for this, where you can have sub accounts. So it's really easy to look at different sub accounts, right? So I plan to have like 10 different sub accounts in my Interactive Brokers. But yeah, so and then you delete the Alpaca ones. Okay, so it's just you don't have to do that here, but just to let you know, if you're a more advanced user, you want to use a different broker, that's how you do it. It's basically just changing these variables. That's it. It's really quite simple, right? Okay, so now that is filled out, that is filled out for Alpaca. Okay, the defaults. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Save Now, and then once that's done, I'm going to go up to manual deploy and click deploy latest commit, which is basically refreshing my algorithm. Okay, so I've filled in my environment variables, I've saved them, and now I'm restarting it, right? I'm restarting because I've changed, I've now given it the username and password, all that stuff. Now I need to restart it so that it uses those new things I gave it, right? And that's basically it. Once we have this thing running here, so let me recap this. We click on the thing, the name, we go to environment, we fill it in. Once it's filled in, we save, then we redeploy it, and then now it's just a waiting game, right? Now we're just waiting for this thing here to look like this, to look like live. You see here for me, it says building. It's doing this little animation. Once it's done this, it'll turn green and say live and a check mark, right? So that's how you know that this thing is good to go, right? And once this thing is done, you could also go into your actual Alpaca account and you'll see that it actually buys these assets. For me, the stock market's closed. You can't really see it with mine here because I would need to sell these in order to buy, and the stock market's closed. So, actually, let's see if I can. Will let me do it after hours. Position liquidated. Let's see if it actually lets me sell right now. I know Alpaca lets you trade after hours sometimes. Yeah, no, I think it won't let me do it because it's after hours. But if you run this in your account that is open right now, you'll see that it actually does place the trades. You'll see the orders go in. It just didn't fill yet. It will fill when the stock market opens. Or if you ran this, if you're watching this video when the stock market's open, you'll see it actually places those trades. All right. Cool. And that's basically it. Once you have that checked off live, you'll see the trades and you have your first trading algorithm working. All right. Congratulations, guys. Pat on the back. You're able to pull it off. We're working on constantly making this thing easier and easier. Hopefully we've gone to the point where all you really have to do once you have your account set up, you just have to fill in those environment variables and that's it. All right. Cool. Awesome. Any questions around that before we jump into next steps? Okay, cool. All right. So let's say you want to get started with some of this stuff. How do you get started with this? So first of all, if you are someone who has a starter, pro, or all access plan, then basically you'd go to LumiWealth Strategies and you could try running a bunch of different algorithms. Like I said, we have tons of them in there. Just to show you kind of what it looks like, we'll poke around a bit here. Go into GitHub. Let's say, for example, you like the Condor Martingale. Let's say you like that one, right? It's one of my favorites. You can click into back tests and you can see all the different back tests that we have here, right? So for example, I showed you SPY 26 today. This is the back test for SPY 26, right? You could put that into your live config, right? Or let's say you want to run SPY 28. This is a new one that we created as well. Maybe this one you like. Maybe you like this configuration. You could actually take this and run this. Right, so you can go into each one of these things. You can go through all the different back tests, and you can pick the one that you like the most and use that one to run. Right. So if you actually want to run different algorithms, that's how you'd go about doing it. Right. Okay. Andrew, start my workday now. Awesome. Sounds good. Hope you enjoy the nice weather in Australia, Andrew. Okay, so let's talk about the different plans. Okay, so if you like what you saw here, you want to actually subscribe to one of our plans, you want to use these things, this is how you go about doing it. We have 3 different plans. We have our starter, pro, and all access plans. You can access them by going to lumiwealth.com. I'm going to share that with you guys here. I'm going to share that in Zoom and in the YouTube chat. So basically, you'll go to the website, you'll click on See Plans, and then these are our different plans. So we have our starter plan. It's $19.98 is a sign-up fee, and then $99 per month afterwards. What you get with that is you get access to all of our trading signals from all of our different algorithms. You'll get help with setup and installation. We could actually get on a call with you and set all this up. You get a chance to participate in our live algo building sessions. This is a brand new thing that we added to the starter plan. Every week, we're producing new algorithms and creating new stuff. So if you're part of our starter plan, you do get access to that. So for example, yesterday, we were working on a futures algorithm. The week before that, we're working on a crypto sniper bot algorithm. The week before that, we built, I think, the options trading bot for for alpha picks. So every week we're building something new. If you have an idea, you could bring it with you, and maybe we actually build your idea. So we do a voting mechanism. So if you win the vote, we can actually build the algorithm that you want. So if you have something in mind, we can actually build it out for you during those sessions. You also get to be a part of these workshops. We have lots of workshops we do on a regular basis. So you get these workshops, you get the recordings of them, and any other workshops we're going to do. You also get access to our algorithmic trading course. You get access to our Python for Finance course. So it'll teach you how to build your own algorithms, how to do this kind of stuff that we're doing. You get access to our community, which is very vibrant. So for example, here's our LumiWell server. We have all these different communications, all these different things we talk about. Here's like the new algorithms that we're building. We go back and forth on stuff. It's a very, very active community. And then you get access to 5 different algorithms with back tests up to 200% a year. So you get access to our diversified leverage. You get access to our Condor martingale and a few other algorithms as well. All right. So that's our starter plan. It's $19.98 as a sign-up fee, and then $99 per month afterwards. If you want to get this plan, you click on Learn More, and then to kind of just show you what it looks like, you click on Learn More. It'll take you to this page that describes more information about it, and then click on Buy Now, and you'll be able to purchase this thing. Okay, we'll add it to your cart, and you can go ahead and purchase. And also, by the way, I'm going to be giving you guys a coupon code in a second because we are having a Black Friday sale, so you'll be able to knock quite a bit off this price. You'll actually be able to knock 30% off the price of this. So you're saving $600 on the starter plan, for example. Very big savings right now. Okay. We don't do sales very often. We've actually been increasing our price a lot. We actually plan to increase our price. We increased it recently, and we're planning on doubling our prices again sometime next year. The bigger our track record gets, the more that we prove to people how good our algorithms are. We're making more and more money. To be honest with you, we're starting to actually make quite a bit of money with our algorithms. That we're in some ways we're actually making more money with our trading than we are with our business. So I don't even know if we'll keep doing this for that long, but we will be raising our prices very shortly as well. So if you look at some of our competitors, there's competitors like NERP, there's like Eminence Pro. These guys are charging $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 for access to their memberships. We're still cheaper because we don't have as long of a track record yet. But as we get that track record, we're going to be increasing our prices consistently. All right. So just keep that in mind that this will be a higher price point in a few months. Okay. And right now we do have that Black Friday sale. So I'll get you that coupon code in a second. Okay. So that's our starter plan. Our Pro plan is definitely our most popular, right? So our Pro plan is here in the middle. It's at $39.98, basically, and $200 a month afterwards. Basically, you get everything from the starter plan, all the stuff that I talked about. Plus, you get all the recordings from the live algo building sessions. You importantly get all the code from the live algo building session. So every week we're making new algorithms, right? So if you come in with an idea, we can actually build your algorithm during that class. It's amazing, honestly. This is where we're getting all the stuff from. Like, why do we have better algorithms than basically anyone else out there? It's because of these Tuesday classes, because we have this very smart group of people. We have people from Goldman Sachs. We have people from ex-Google employees. We have all these really, really smart people that are put in a room, and we come up with new algorithms every single week. So this is where we keep coming up with all these crazy ideas. And then also with the Pro plan, you get access to all of our algorithms. So if you want any of the algorithms that you talked about today, anything inside of our GitHub, all of it is available to you on the Pro plan, right? So again, this one's $39.98 sign up, and then $200 a month afterwards. But you also get that Black Friday coupon, which I'll be giving you in a second. Day asks, how long is the discount coupon good for? We're doing it until December 5th, I believe, is when it gets cut off, right? So you have a couple days to do that. I think about a week to do that. Okay. All right. So we have starter plan, we have Pro plan, and then we have our all access plan. And now our all access plan is our top tier thing that we have here. It's $9,998 as a sign up fee, and then $400 a month afterwards. What you get with this is you get basically everything we have, right? You get access to all the stuff from starter plan, all the stuff from Pro plan. So all of our algorithms, all of our courses you're going to get. We have quite a few more courses as well. We have courses teaching you how to build algorithms for stock options. We have an AI for trading course. We have a blockchain course. We have all these different courses. You'll get access to all of those in the starter plan. We also do a white glove installation and a done for you service. So we can set you up with anything. If you need to get set up with any broker, whatever, we'll do all of that stuff for you. You get 2 hours of custom coding per month, which you can get a lot of work done with. So to give you an example, the options algorithm that we made for trading Seeking Alpha, that took about 6 hours. Okay, so if you have 2 hours per week, or 2 hours per month, you could basically build any algorithm that you want. We can build it for you. You get access to our coders to actually build stuff for you. Usually it's myself that actually gets on these calls, and we could actually, if you have an algorithm that I have in mind, we can actually build that for you, right? That's what this all access plan is all about, is we give you a lot of extra help. We actually have coders that can work for you and build stuff for you, right? And then we'll also help you set up and monitor the algorithms. And again, you have access to all of our algorithms, everything in not only in our GitHub, we also have algorithms that we've built over the years. We've built over 100 different algorithms. You're going to get access to all of that stuff. Our staff to actually help build everything out for you. All of our courses, you're going to get access to the whole shebang, right? That's our all access plan. Okay. So I talked about starter, pro, and all access. So again, All Access has all these different courses: algo trading, options trading, AI for trading, crypto trading class, and a blockchain trading class. That's all in the All Access, right? Okay. So those are different plans. Let me share with you guys the coupon code, because I promised you this. Here's our coupon code for Black Friday. It's BF2024. So I'm going to share that into all of these chats that we have here on our YouTube, on our Zoom chat, right? And then I'll also share this in our Instagram as well. I don't know why that's not sharing, but BF 2024 is what you use. So for example, let's say you're buying the Pro plan. Like I said, this is our most popular plan. Click on Pro plan, add to cart. Right, let's say I want to do Pro plan. I don't want to do Starter. I want to do Pro. You'll put in your coupon code here. Click Apply Coupon, and there you go. You save yourself $2,200. That's one heck of a savings. So you'll save $1,200 if you subscribe before December 5th. That's when the sale ends. You get 30% off of the sign-up fee until December 5th. All right. So BF 2024. Right, Black Friday 2024. All right. Okay, cool. Any questions around anything that we've covered? Or any questions about anything that, anything really, ask me anything. I know you guys have been pretty good at asking questions throughout, but let me know if there's any other questions I can answer for you, anything else I can go over. Now's the time when you can do that. And again, feel free to turn on your microphones if you want. We could actually have a dialogue. This is live. The reason why we do it live is so that we can have that back and forth. There's also another thing they could do here. Let me share this with you. If you want to go to, I don't know why this isn't typing, lumiwealth.com/book. Actually, let's go to a website and show you how to get there. Go to lumiwealth.com. Under more, there's book a demo, or in other words, lumiwealth.com/book a call. I'm going to share that with you guys here. If you have any questions and you want to go over anything really, you can get on a call with one of our staff, and they can take you through our algorithms in depth, right? If you have any specific questions, they can take you through all that stuff. We've trained them quite well. If you want to see some of these things running or whatever, or you just want to talk to someone, you can book a demo there, right? This is also for those of you that are subscribers. I know a couple of you guys in here are paying customers. If you want some help, we do these workshops, and you can kind of just do it yourself, or you could just get on a call with someone and they'll just do it for you, right? This is a way to make your life a lot easier. So if you want some help with setting up some algorithms, or if you want to go over any kind of questions they have, whatever, book a demo and we'll take you through all that stuff. We have a very good staff that can take you through a bunch of different things, right? Also, another way that you can get in touch is bottom right-hand corner. You notice that we have a little chat down here. You can click on this chat anywhere on our website, start a chat with us, and you'll usually get a response very quickly. We have a few people that are looking at this thing, so at almost all times a day, you can get a response quite fast. All right, so book a demo, or you can start a chat there. All right. Cool. But while I'm still here, any questions that you guys have? Any other questions, I should say? So you've asked some pretty good questions throughout. Okay. All right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure. I hope you guys are all having a great night so far, and I hope you have or had a great day so far, I should say, and have a great rest of the night. If you have any questions, feel free to go to the website, book a demo, and all that. No problem, Dave. Thank you. And again, every time we do this, we do these workshops almost weekly now. Every week we have newer and newer stuff. So if you sign up to one of our programs, not only do you get everything that we have now, but you get access to all the things that we're going to be adding. And we're building some really cool stuff. Give you a little preview. We're working on a little website here. This is a nice little preview. It's our Pelosi bot running in this new website. Right, so pretty soon you'll have access to this kind of website where you could actually look at how these things perform. Right, this is just a demo right now, but soon we'll have that running, so you actually be able to run these algorithms really easily and monitor them very easily. We're working on a bunch of new algorithms, like I said, our new crypto sniper bot, or futures bot. There's lots and lots of stuff that we're building out. So not only do you get access to everything we have now, but everything that we're going to have over the next little bit as well. All right. Cool. Great. Well, it's been a pleasure. Hope you guys have a good night. And if you end up joining one of our programs, then I'll see you guys next week on Tuesday, and we can build some really cool stuff. All right. Have a good night, guys.